Welcome to the Protector Culture Podcast with Jimmy Graham. Jimmy is a veteran U.S. Navy SEAL, a former protective officer for the CIA Global Response Staff, founder and CEO of the Able Shepherd Program, a husband and father of four, and a personal friend of mine. Now here's Jimmy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Protector Culture Podcast with Jimmy Graham. I'm your host, Jimmy Graham. I want to talk about this new initiative we got going on. We've mentioned it in the past. We're up and running now. We've done 2 talks at different churches. We're working on the 3rd one. We're thinking it's somewhere in Castle Rock. We're talking to a couple of churches right now to finalize a date. So please follow us at Able Shepherd. On the Able Shepherd Facebook page, just watch Able Shepherd. We got the Stand in the Gap Initiative on Facebook, and then also standinthegapinitiative.com. One of the documents I'm excited about that we gave out at the last church event that we've got more coming for this church event is pretty popular, and a lot of people are jumping into this and asking more about it. And they're coming by the shop, they're picking them up, and they're building these with their communities. We really believe this is a big deal. We always say community, community, community. Say there's a storm coming, let's weather it together. Let's say the end of the year comes and something really bad happens. You're going to be better off if you've got a community. Let's say nothing happens. You're going to be better off if you've got a community, okay? So we say, our motto in Able Shepherds is take care of one another. What if things are really bad? Take care of one another. What if they're really good? Take care of one another. That's what shepherding is. So let me explain what this is because I'm really excited about it. And this is a way that we think makes a difference right now. There's a lot of theories about what we can do in times that are good and times that are bad. This is proven, no matter what, this is going to be better. You're going to make yourself, you're standing better within your community. We call this 2 minutes, 10 minutes card. It means in 2 minutes, here's your home. This goes on your fridge. This is totally for you. This is your house. 2 minutes away. If you look really lightly, we're going to make these a little bit darker, but it says name and number. So in 2 minutes, who are 2 people that you trust that could be at your home, in 2 minutes, their name and phone number. Name and phone number, okay? Now, if these people have a capability with firearms and all that kind of stuff, it just enhances the capability. But we're talking about people in your community. You should have 2 friends within 2 minutes of your home, okay? Now, I get it if you're in the rural area, there's nobody within 2 minutes, do the best you can. 10 minutes. There should be 10 people listed here that could be to your home in 10 minutes. I'm very fortunate to have 250 people in my phone, in my program, that train regularly, very capable. These kind of people they have maybe a firearms, sometimes on their person, and sometimes in their vehicle. They've got medical supplies. They get the training to use it. They've got, we just think this way, right? Huge thing that that I can get 12 people at my house within 10 minutes. Some in 2, some in 10, whatever. The bottom it says the panic button brevity plan. Load all information into Life360 app. So Life360 is an app that we kind of selected. Now, when you go to Life360 and hit the location services, you can make it live to where everybody sees where you're at. So your buddies as you're driving around say it's kind of creepy. So you can turn those off. Don't have to activate those because it's not that time yet. Say something changes in November, December. Now it's time to go to your phone and turn that on. Now people can see where you're at, but it enables you to hit a button. You literally have a panic button for your 12 people. Now you can load more in there, you can do whatever, but now because of that phone you carry in your pocket, I can hit a button. It sends a grid coordinate and shows exactly where I'm at on somebody else's map and that I need help. And they can come help me. Now, let's talk about the backup plan. You pull that pot, we all pull our phones out and they don't work anymore. That says channel and frequency. So now for roughly $30 on Amazon, you can get a radio sent to your house, program it manually on your computer, and then have that ready to talk to your circle. So these 12 people can all pick up a radio, turn them on, and now you're talking again. Obviously there's ranges, limitations for some of the frequencies. You need to be ham certified. We're doing more of those classes now. Right now I'm staying in the new building. This is an expansion. It's going to let us take our capability to the next level. So we've got ham radio testing coming. We've got more medical classes and obviously furthering the Able Shepherd program here within the walls of this 5 multi-room shoot house. So let's go to the back side and talk about that. So now you've got your 12 people, your 2 and 10, and then you've also got a backup brevity plan to get them here quickly to know exactly where you're at, not just your house, but they can come to your phone where you're at, and then a channel and frequency that you guys can have communications for roughly $40. Not a bad thing to have. Are you prepared? On this side, people come to us continuously asking, what can I do to better my situation? Now, we don't believe in living in fear. So people say, that looks paranoid. If you know anything about me, I don't live in fear, not paranoid, I'm having a blast. I have a great time with my friends. We go on these trips, we raise money for schools, for churches. We just love helping people. We love taking care of one another. But when they come to you this regularly, What I tell people all the time is over the past 9 years, what we've earned is trust. Haven't earned a lot of money, we're working on that, but we've earned a lot of trust. So I've been blessed with relationships, a lot of great people. When they ask me as regularly as they have been, and I'm not talking gun people, I'm talking about everybody. They're saying, hey, I know what you do for a living, can I ask you a few questions? And it turns into a 30-minute conversation. But it's happening all the time. So we put together a resource. These are bare minimums. In my world, these are bare minimums. So just be mindful of that. Are you prepared? It says, it's a checklist. I love checklists, I love simplicity. Put it on your fridge, food for 30 days for your household, including your pets. So Skip, Don, these guys, they brought up a good point. When you go shopping, just buy more than you normally would. So if you're gonna go and buy whatever, 5 pounds of meat, buy 10. If you're whatever it is for your family, just double it up. So now you're living in a surplus. You've got a little savings account of food, so where we call it the root cellar mentality. My grandparents, had a root cellar where they needed food that they could feed their family for a long time in case of emergencies without going to the store. It's a good way to be, and we need to get back to that right now. We just saw with COVID, even with toilet paper or whatever, we can only get by so long on certain things. And then even if it's not a real shortage, if the fear is I need to have this, the fear creates a shortage. You're still the guy with that toilet paper, okay? And the toilet paper thing, people ask a lot of questions about this. It is a cleanliness thing that can lead to disease. If you're not using toilet paper, washing your hands with soap and water, all that kind of stuff, you're using something else, cloth, whatever, and then you can basically, make your family sick. So there is a line of thought with that. It's got some reason to it. 50 gallons of water. 50 gallons might seem like a lot of water, it's really not. If you look at how much water is consumed daily, that's not actually gonna last you that long. So these are bare minimums. The way to get 50 gallons of water, just go online right now to Amazon where you can still get all this stuff. You can get a 6-pack of buckets. Get a couple 6-packs of buckets. Food grade white buckets. Fill them up with water. I did 3, stacked up, another 3, that's 9, right? Then go get another one with a handle that you can get at any hardware store, just on the way out the door, grab a 5-gallon thing of water. So get 10 of those, 50 gallons of water, that's mobile. If you get one of the huge tanks and you have to leave your home, you can't take them with you. But you can take those and shuttle them off in your vehicle. You can put them in a trailer, whatever, and you can take your 50 gallons of water with you if you have to leave your home and go to somebody else's home maybe. Next one, a family medical kit for trauma, everyday injuries, and personal medications. Don't forget your medications, and know that a trauma kit, I'm gonna say this and I absolutely mean it because we've had to use them recently, and people are asking me this all the time, and I've said it 50 times this past month. Every vehicle should have a full trauma kit with everyday supplies in it, which means the trauma kit, think about it in 2 parts, because usually we say the boo-boo kit. Boo-boo kit's I'm a dad. Band-Aids, Neosporin, cold packs, maybe some Tylenol, Advil, something like that. Have that stuff, and that's the consumables that you're gonna use. You're gonna use them, you're supposed to use them, that's what they're for, and you're gonna replace them. The other stuff, leave it alone, unless it's a emergency. So if you got gauze for wound packing, if you got trauma shears, if you've got tourniquets, don't be messing with that stuff, leave it in there. But if you ever need that stuff, you're gonna need it, and it's life-threatening. So you need to make sure the life-threatening situation comes up, you didn't borrow the scissors. I jokingly said to go make a Valentine, you never put them back. So keep those shears in there to cut clothing off and expose wounds looking for exit wounds. So leave all that stuff in there. But every single vehicle should have one. We're putting together a kit here. I've been working on it for a while. We just ordered a bunch of them. To go in every single vehicle that you own. Better, you need it and have it, not need it. A personal firearm with 1,000 rounds of ammunition. Now, a lot of people say, 1,000 rounds, hey, where can I get that? In this time, day and age. But that's a ton of ammo. Not really. So in our world where we're shooting regularly and practicing, it's responsible to be a responsible, capable gun owner. You're going to shoot through 1,000 rounds. It just, instead of going to the store 10 times throughout your shooting career and all that the rest of your life, you're going to shoot those rounds. So financially, if this is an option, it's just a mark. 1,000 rounds. Like I would say, I'm not even kidding. For 22, my mark was 10,000 rounds. Like 10,000 rounds of 22. Why? Because if you know much about, when things go bad, what becomes currency tradable? 22 long rifle, and the survivalist mentality becomes currency. You can trade that. You can use it. You can use 1 round for 4 cents to bag a meal, whatever. You can even use it for self-defense in a bind. Not preferred, but if that's what you got, you got. And I could put 400 rounds in my pockets and walk out of this room, right? That you really can't say that with a lot of different ammunitions. So it is the survivalist round. Backup plan for heat. Fireplace, wood stove, propane stove. Now think about this. If you lose power, could you heat your home? Now some people say, well, I've got a pellet stove. Okay, well that auger and the element is run by electricity. So if that's off, you need a way to run the electricity. Some people have solar. Some people have generators that'll run it. Some people, even to heat the house. Some people now I know are installing wood burning stoves in their home and paying for it and doing that even though it's not the most efficient move because they have gas or whatever. How does the gas get to your home? Does it require power for the town to get to the gas room? Honestly, I don't even know that. I'm going to find out after this. I just thought about that. This came up the other day and I didn't find the answer. I don't know. It's like, well, I got gas fireplace in there. Well, will the gas keep being delivered to my home if the town loses power? Things you need to think about. A backup power plan for power. So for power, we talked about heat. Let's talk about power. Charge backup battery or a small generator. So we do have a generator, but generators need gas. They're not going to run a long time. If you get a good freezer, I just found this out recently. It is dang near impossible to get a brand new chest freezer right now. So the demand is out there so much that to go on and get a chest freezer for extra meat right now, it is hunting season and we're in the middle of this craziness with COVID and all this other stuff, the election year. So you can't even get one. So that's a big deal. So have a plan to get your power up. If the power goes down, fire up a generator and run that thing for an hour or so, get that thing to freeze and then turn it back off. And let that freeze happen, let it do its thing with an insulated box, and as it starts to thaw again, fire it back up. We were just talking about this on a trip I was on. The poor man's way when you don't have an alarm with any kind of Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. If you got $1,000 or $2,000 worth of meat in a freezer, you're gonna wanna know if the temperature's not right. They do make devices to let you know if your power went off. They can let your phone know that, hey, something went wrong here, it's not getting power. The poor man version of that, I used to take a cup of ice cubes and put it in there, and when I pull something out, if it looks like a cup of water that froze, I lost power. I need to start checking meat because it might have been bad. Now I refroze rotten meat, it's a bad deal. So you might want to check that if you're not in and out of that all the time. You should see cubes in that thing, and that means it stayed frozen. Just something to check. What about a backup plan for cooking? So for cooking, outside grill, backpack stove with fuel. Now if you're using a little backpack stove, bad news is some of those canisters don't last that long if you're cooking regularly with them. The good news, you can boil water in about 90 seconds. Somewhere around there, within 3 minutes, you're boiling water, then you put it into a meal and eat freeze-dried. That's very efficient because you're not just sitting there and cooking and wasting a bunch of gas because they become very efficient with it. So outside grill with backup propane. So having those propane, even the little heater, the buddies, whatever they call them, what was it called? Something buddy. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, anyways. A little heater, they burn clean enough where you can actually put them in a tent and you can go camping with them and all that stuff. But just make sure that they are rated for that. Obviously be careful of carbon monoxide poisoning and all that kind of stuff because campers have gone off and used those stoves that aren't used for that to try to heat a tent and suck all the oxygen out of things. So be careful with that. 50 gallons of auto fuel. So 15 gallons of auto fuel. So maybe you don't have a bunch of ammo cans and all that stuff. Maybe you consider getting something that's designed to hold gasoline for long term and then put those things in your garage. The other thing that I've got is I've got a third vehicle that we have as a family. Fill it up and leave it in the driveway because I can always siphon gas out of that. It was made to hold gasoline. It's another vehicle, obviously, but it's only me and Rachel that drive in the house. Third vehicle is also gas storage. So just something to think about. Pre-packed overnight bag. The kids are so excited because they've had camp bags, but when I called them an overnight bag ready to leave, they wanted to get involved in this stuff. They wanted to go and do this. It's super cool. The one thing I want to add on this is that, before I even make it all the way down here, September is National Preparedness Month. We're coming up on the end of it, and what I did last night with my kids, I did this when they were little kids, and it was super funny, and I just did it again, it was equally funny, is blindfold them, just like the old school, we heard about this when we were kids, do a fire drill. It was funny because it was evening time, it was already dark, put on blindfolds to the older kids, push the fire alarm, and then they have to crawl out of the house. They have to get low as if it's smoke, crawl out of the house. So the first time, Rebecca, my oldest, crawls in and gets Eden, my youngest, and carries her out of the house. She's 12. She takes her little sister all the way out. Once they get out of the house, they pull off their blindfolds in their pajamas, run down the street to my neighbor's house. It's the cutest thing ever, but now they know. They know exactly they remember exactly what to do. I don't really have to tell them other than we're doing it again, and they just did it. So even some of the mistakes that were made on the previous one, they'd already fixed, and it was a fun thing, but we did it as a family. Blindfolds off. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, together, together, together. Go, boy. This pre-packed overnight bag, same thing. Pack the bag, take off and go whatever, go to a hotel, go camping, do whatever. Let them play with that stuff and use that stuff, even if it's in the backyard. We spent the night in the backyard for fun, in hammocks. I was in a sleeping bag, all this stuff, but they get to pull this stuff out and use it, so it's not foreign when they pull it out for the first time. And like I said, have a good time with it. Create an evacuation plan for your family. If you leave your house right now, where are you going? Maybe to never come back. You need to think about that. So it's not fun to think about, but if something happened and you had to leave, that's not the time to make a plan. Start calling and making arrangements. Already pre-stage gear, which we've done. Pre-stage gear at that location. Think about where you're going, and everybody, without a question, if you said, hey, we have to leave here where we're going, the whole family should know where they're headed. Create a folder that holds a copy of all your important documents. Now, there is the cloud, and you can save this stuff. We're talking about some of that stuff, those documents you need that are, birth certificate, marriage license, all the important stuff. If you were leaving your house right now, I don't know, it was on fire, and you could grab one folder and get out of there. I recommend, taking a photocopy. I've got an app on my phone that was free called Scannable. You can scan everything and send it to yourself, to your email account. Put in important document, all caps, and then just sit there and put them out there. And it's this fast. As soon as it reads it, next one, reads it, next one, reads it, next one, send. Done. So now it lives there, so you could retrieve it if you have the cloud. But if not, you need paper copies. So maybe something that's in a document that on your way out, you're gonna grab an attaché case or something and then book it, and you've got all this stuff. There's a couple things that I hold dear that are irreplaceable. My grandfather's Bible that he carried in World War II. Things like that, just a couple things if you're gonna grab and beeline out of the house, they should be accessible in a case, preferably waterproof, that you could bug out and grab this stuff. Have a cash reserve stored at your house. So, cash is still king. If you have some cash, maybe it's not gonna be $20,000, but anything that could be cash is usable right now, and it's gonna take a while for that to devalue if you're moving around and you've got cash and need to make some last minute purchases. Backup plan for communication with others in your circle. We talked about those handheld or vehicle mounted radios. Now, growing up, my dad had the CB and my uncles had the CBs and all that kind of stuff. These radios today for $30 are blowing those away. The capability are impressive. I was a communicator in the SEAL teams. This $30 radio that lives in my car that runs on batteries, and I can talk like a walkie-talkie. It's amazing the repeaters they can hit along the front range and just talk in line of sight. So something you definitely need to consider if we're just so used to pulling a phone out of our pocket and it just works. If that thing doesn't work, our whole lives are on those, and they shouldn't be. We should have a life outside of our cell phone. So have some radios as a backup way to communicate. Literally, I want to say it's 2 miles in either direction through houses and a little bit of terrain. We tested these, and I could talk to buddies in either direction, and it was clear as a bell. Possess the skills and knowledge necessary through quality training to safely and effectively use all of the above. You could have the coolest radio in your pocket, not know how to turn it on and put it on the channel that I'm talking to, and now you got a radio that doesn't communicate. So knowing how to use it. If you got a firearm, make sure that your uniform is safe and accurate. It means you have some kind of standard of training, and you know how to safely handle it around your family. Actually, anything on here, if you don't know how to use it, a horrible time to figure all that stuff out is right in the middle of an emergency. So spend some time with this stuff there. Do it with your family, have fun with it, but check it out. So we always talk about, obviously the Able Shepherd program. I don't know anybody doing it on the level we're doing it as far as efficiency and quality. So if you're looking at heading that direction as a protector, POP, the Protecting Our People class. Typically on Fridays and Saturdays, and there's more coming. Like I said, we have a new expansion here to where we have a multi-room shoot house for our advanced guys, and how do you move around in closed spaces, maybe with a spouse or another armed individual. So you gotta be very careful about learning how to do that correctly. So the POP, if you're gonna handle any firearms, there's a lot of unarmed skills there too. So if you're thinking protector and you identify as a protector in your community, you need to take that course and have a base understanding of protective principles. As far as preparedness, again, standinthegapinitiative.com. Click on Readiness. There's a Zoom link that every Sunday night at 9 o'clock, click on it and just join and listen. Just put your earpods in, listen for roughly an hour as Don Jones leads us through this curriculum that he's developed leading all the way up to the election. If you missed them, you can go into the Google Docs just below there, click on Google Docs, the recorded sessions, pre-recorded sessions, and listen to all of them that he's done previously. So a lot of this stuff, he goes way more in depth and answers questions about how you can better prepare for your family. So what am I missing, BK? We got POP, we got Stand in the Gap Initiative, we got Facebook, be watching on Able Shepherd on Facebook and Stand in the Gap Initiative, and watch for our next event. When we go to churches and talk to masses of people, we're handing out documents like this, we're handing out constitutions, we're handing out kind of like Prager University, Hillsdale College, a lot of stuff that you need to know this. So now is the time, more than ever in my lifetime, that you need to educate yourself on the biblical foundation that built our nation, and basically the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence was signed, and the Constitution that was formed that has worked to launch us into a place that this world has never seen as far as technology, healthcare, longevity, all this other stuff. So we need to get back to that foundation. We keep building, and chipping away at our foundation, and there's consequences to that. So, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of others. Check out your preparedness stuff, get your community built, and then start educating yourself and finding out where you can stand to make a difference. What'd I miss? Good to go? Okay, then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. All right, so check us out on Facebook, like I said. Learn more about the Able Shepherd program at ableshepherd.com. And until then, until I guess next week, God bless you guys. Take care of one another.